Now, back to the psychology of spirit.
It is true, sometimes our jobs are simply a means to an end. We all talk about our dream job, but a lot of us don't know what that means. We haven't really researched it or looked at it. When we're going through school, yes, you do need to decide whether you want to go to university or go on. And remember, you can always go back to school. Even after you have one degree, you can go back for another degree. But the bottom line is we all need money to live. If we choose to work 8 hours a day, we still have another 8 hours of which to function, and a lot of us forget that. And yes, I do understand that when we have children, those times get just sucked right up. When we're looking for our life purpose, we must remember that in our 20s, some of us even start having children in our 20s and get married in our 20s. Yes, that used to be the norm before, but remember, we're living a lot longer now. So in our 20s, we're trying to define our work, sometimes a family, and sometimes a household. That's a lot to ask for, let alone trying to figure out life purpose. When you're looking at your job, yes, when you're in your 20s, you don't necessarily have to go for the dream job. Because first you have to get the experience, you have to learn how to navigate our society, and you have to learn to work within it. And you have to learn to understand what you want, how much debt you're willing to carry, or maybe you're not willing to carry any at all. And you have to decide what type of lifestyle you would like. And you have to find a job or career to support it accordingly. Then you have to set about to earn the ranks of that. All of you listening who are in your 20s need to remember, it takes a good 10 years to gain the respect of the people around you, to understand that you are darn good at what you do. Even if you know you're good at what you do, you've got to give the rest of society time and the people you work with to catch up. We all had to pay our dues. And the generation before myself knew that. My generation don't know it as much. And the generations after me, some people are forgetting it. There's got to be a point of humility when you're trying to define who you are. Because the thing is none of us are better than anybody else. So our life purposes are all relative. They're all just as good as the other, and one is not bigger than the other one. The other day, I was out at the nightclub, and there was a wonderful woman working the towel room, handing out the towels in the bathroom. I have just as much respect for her trade as I do for my own. Why? Because it's her job. Right now, that is her purpose. And for me, it's enough. And you know what? For her, it's enough. She doesn't feel beneath anyone. She's one of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet, and I don't think she's any different. And a lot of people would look at her and say, well, she's not doing anything. It's enough. And it's enough because she has decided it's enough. And that's what a lot of us forget. We think our purpose has to be huge. But if we're not earning the top dollar wherever we are, we're not doing enough. And a lot of people will actually tell you this. Well, your earning potential is a lot higher, so you really should work to gain it. You should only work to gain it if that's what you want to do. And remember, I'm not talking about going mooching off the rest of society either. I'm talking about living within the means that you have chosen to earn and being happy with what you have chosen to do within your job. And I'm telling you that if you make your job enough mentally, your job becomes enough. It is that simple. Well, I'm just a waitress. Are you kidding? Waitresses can make or break someone's day. It's a big deal. Oh, well, I just pumped gas. Are you kidding? I appreciate you so much when it's 40 below here in Canada and I don't want to get out and pump my own gas. As long as you see how important you are, other people will see it too. If you respect the job that you're doing and decide that it's part of your purpose right now, it will be enough. And no, a lot of people think, well, if I just decide this is good enough, But I didn't say that. When I say it's good enough, it means in a way of acceptance, knowing you're moving further, not a sense of complacency. A sense of complacency means that I don't think I'll ever get anywhere else. A sense of complacency means victim mentality. People who truly love their lives, people who truly respect their jobs, do not have a sense of complacency. These people take their work seriously. Too many of us have become complacent. And I don't mean become hard on yourself. It's such a fine line. It's to know you're doing your best. We don't need to be pushed, for heaven's sakes. There's so many people pushing us every day and telling us, well, you really shouldn't have done that. You get the look. You get the tone. We all know it. We all feel it. People judge the way we're dressed. People judge the way our hair is. People judging. The thing is if you like where you are, and it's enough right now knowing that it's going to change, because remember, change is the one consistent of the universe, you will naturally go forth. You will naturally evolve into the next phase of your life. Complacency is bred when we decide we're victims. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And that's what I was talking about before. As soon as you think you'd like to try something, please indulge yourself in the research. The Internet is such an easy way to research things so quickly, and we can get a lot of knowledge very quickly on if a job is something that we even want to try. And it's worth it. It's worth walking down. No harm, no foul. All you've done is allowed your mind to go there. So here I am in my 20s. I'm not, but just for example. I am trying to navigate my family, my job, and possibly my children. That is going to be your life purpose, people. It's enough. For heaven's sakes, for some of us, it's almost too much. To try and run a household, raise children, you need to give credit where credit's due. Most women in their 30s and 40s still have not given themselves credit for the great jobs they have done. Well, AuKeeRa, I could have done better. Well, you know what? You did a pretty darn good job. And you need to say, I am so proud of me for at least getting to where I did. Some of us have gone through a lot of pretty crappy stuff. And when we get to the other side, we decide that we wish it didn't happen. And we're glad it's over. But you need to say, I'm proud of you. I'm so glad you did this. Do you know how many people come to me and look at themselves like failures, even though they've been alive for 30-plus years, 40-plus years, 50-plus years, 60-plus years? It's a big deal. You've lived a life as a human being. This is not an easy place to live. Every day we wake up navigating our emotions. Every day we wake up feeling that we're not quite good enough. Every day we wake up being pushed by everybody else. And most of the time, we don't even have ourselves to fall back on. We run through life fearing that we may be alone, fearing that we may be taken advantage of. Some of us, some days, are hungry. But it's not because we don't have enough food. It's because we didn't make enough time. And then you're not going to give yourself credit? You're doing good. And then you're going to ask yourself, well, what's my life purpose? Because you know what I'm doing, it's not quite enough. When have you told yourself it's enough? When have you ever stopped and thought to yourself, it's enough? As we grow into our 30s, some of us are just starting our families, and some of us are just buying our homes. Others are right in the middle of raising their children and fighting to keep their homes. Life moves fast. Whether we like it or not, life moves fast. There is not 1 second of one day that will ever repeat identically again. And often life moves so fast, we don't even have time to think of what we would like if we could have anything. We don't take ourselves in those quiet times. We don't listen to ourselves, and we are working so hard to achieve what other people tell us we're supposed to be achieving. We haven't asked ourselves if that's what we really wanted. Goals. You ever asked yourself what you really want? We'll talk about that in just 1 second.